Good morning. Welcome to session 39 of the course. In earlier few sessions, we discussed at length analysis of sentences. What would be the reverse of that? Synthesis of sentences. In synthesis, you try to put together components and try to design a sentence in the way you want. Okay? Design, and sometimes you need a redesign, okay, rephrasing of a sentence. For example, suppose you have a friend who has 3 daughters, okay, Charlotte, Emily, and Anne, okay, and you want to say that Emily is the most brilliant among the 3 girls, among the 3 daughters, okay. After writing that, you feel that, well, out of all the 3, nobody is really very brilliant, but among them, Emily seems to be more brilliant. So you don't want to use such a great word like most. Okay. So then you redesign it. Okay. So Emily is more brilliant than her sisters. Okay. So you rephrase, you redesign the sentence in order to avoid something, bring in something else. Okay. On the other hand, if you had originally designed the sentence as Emily is more brilliant than others among the sisters, something like that, then if you had felt, but actually no, Charlotte is also very brilliant. Okay. Now sometimes some people get confused, who is better? Then you can rephrase the other way around, because if you call somebody most, there is a scope of another person being almost equal. Okay? So this is one kind of transformation. So this topic, design and redesign of sentences, is studied in formal grammar under the head of synthesis of sentences, transformation of sentences. Synthesis of the sentences we are not doing in this, because that will involve a lot of other things. In transformation, the most important 2 items are change of voice, active to passive, passive to active, and the other one is indirect narration to direct narration and reverse. Okay? So voice conversion we have done enough in earlier quarters. Today we illustrate a little of change of narration. Okay? And as we have always done in EPP courses, that rather than spelling out 2 rules and 5 sub rules and 7 exceptions, we take a few examples which are simple or at least interesting, okay, if not simple, and then through those examples we illustrate, and on the way we show what are the rules and how these examples conform to those rules. So for showing change of narration, we have got a little example. Now, from where to get a lot of sentences in direct narration? A play. Okay? So we have picked up a play. And since I am starting somewhere in between, so you need a little background. So the background is written here in details. Okay. So sometime take time to read it through a little carefully. The city of Thebes is attacked by 7 forces through the 7 gates. Okay. And on the 7th gate, the commander of the invading army is Polynices, who happens to be the brother of the king Eteocles. Okay. Thebes is saved from the attack finally, but at heavy cost. A lot of casualties were there, and in particular Eteocles and Polynices, the 2 brothers, died at the gate fighting against each other. Okay? And they were survived by 2 sisters, Antigone and Ismene, and an uncle, Creon. So at this stage, Creon becomes the king and becomes a dictator actually. And he gave full state honor burial to Eteocles, and announced a proclamation that Polynices will be considered a traitor and therefore will be deprived of citizenship, and therefore he will not be given a burial, his corpse will be left lying with the other foreign invaders. And if somebody violates this order, then he will get death penalty. At this backdrop, the play Antigone starts. Now, in the beginning of the play Antigone, the heroine of the play, feels that Polynices has not been given a fair deal. Indeed, he was a traitor, but there are some rights which are unalienable, citizenship among them. So, he should be given the honor of a citizen of Thebes, whatever may be the case. And therefore, she goes and buries Polynices on her own, and she is caught. So, a messenger arrests her and brings her to Creon. That is the point when this conversation starts.
You bending your head to the ground, do you confess or do you deny having done this?
So, here you see, in this example, Creon asked Antigone. Okay? It is a question. So, Creon asked Antigone, who was bending her head to the ground. This is a clause. Okay? Whether she confessed or denied having done that. So, here this whether is coming here, and this thing is coming in order to express this part. Okay? And make note that it is asked, which is of course past. Okay? And since it is a question, it is asked, and bending, here it was is bending or you are bending. Okay? Here it is was bending. So, this is the main point, that if the main event is in past, then the present of the direct narration will be converted to past, appropriate past. Present continuous, this will become past continuous. Okay? And this, which is immediate, will be changing to that. Okay? So, Creon asked Antigone, who was bending her head to the ground, whether she confessed or denied having done that.
I both confess I did it, and I do not deny that I did not.
Okay. So, you can transform it in various ways into indirect narration. One straightforward and economic way will be Antigone confessed and declared, you can say haughtily declared, this is my interpretation, her firm intention not to deny it, that of course I did it, that is the spirit. Okay?
You may take yourself off where you please, free from the heavy charge. But do you tell me not at length, but briefly, did you know the proclamation forbidding this?
Okay. Now, the first part Creon tells to the messenger, second part to Antigone. So, Creon released the messenger, okay, permission, released, okay, or allowed the messenger, you can say. Creon released the messenger from the heavy charge to go wherever he pleased. Okay. Next, he commanded Antigone, and when there is a command or request or order, instruction, in that kind of situation, you do not put that or what or whether. In normal sentences, you put that. Okay? In questions, you put what, which, when, etc. In binary questions, you put whether, okay, as the connector of the speech. And in the case of order, instruction or request, you do not put any connector. You simply put this infinitive, two pronouns. Okay? Next, he commanded Antigone to pronounce this thing, that tell me. Okay? So, you do not have to say that he commanded that she tells, no, nothing of that sort. He commanded Antigone to tell or to pronounce whether she had known the proclamation forbidding that. This has become that, make note. Okay? And there is a little pun and sarcasm in heavy charge. Okay?
knew it, and why should I not? For it was plain.
Okay. Antigone admitted that she knew it. This is a normal sentence, so that as the connector. This point onwards, the speech really starts. She knew it. Okay? Or you can also say she had known it. Okay? That would mean, in fact, the way present becomes past, past becomes past perfect. Okay? So, you can still say knew in this case, because that means that she still knows. Okay? But perhaps a little better would be she had known it at the time of committing that itself. Okay? Antigone admitted that she had known it and wondered, that is now, okay, during the conversation. Why should she not? For it had been plain, had been. Okay?
And have you dared then to transgress these laws?
Okay. Creon asked, if she then knowingly had dared to transgress those laws, had dared, okay, those laws.
For it was not Jove who heralded these commands, not justice, that dwells with the gods below the earth, who established the laws among men. Nor did I think your proclamation had so much power as being a mortal to transgress the unwritten and immovable laws of the gods.
Okay. So, you can also say Antigone replied, okay, or Antigone explained also is fine, okay, that it was not Jove, Jupiter, the supreme god, who had heralded those commands, nor justice that dwells with the gods below the earth, who had established these laws among men, nor did she think that his proclamations had so much power so as to enable a mortal to transgress the unwritten and immovable laws of the gods. Okay? Make note here of two things. One is that other things are following the normal rule, the present becoming past, the past becoming past perfect, and so on. But justice that dwells with the gods below the earth remains as such, because if we take Antigone's theory, or if we take the theory prevalent at that time, which is not such a very irrational idea, then it still dwells. That is something in the line of a universal truth. Okay. So, that dwells with the gods below the earth remains as such. Okay. And one more thing here is this enable a mortal to transgress the unwritten and immovable laws of the gods. Here there is a matter of interpretation. A mortal can identify both Creon as well as Antigone. Okay? So, meaning Creon, Antigone might question Creon's correctness of passing that proclamation, and meaning herself, she might explain her own action. Okay? So, she says that your proclamation does not have that power that I transgress the laws made by the gods. Okay? So, that is for herself, and for Creon, she says that you did not really have the power to issue that proclamation in the first place. Okay?
For I knew I must die, even though you had not proclaimed it. And if I die before my day, I count it gain. For whosoever lives like me in many sorrows, how does not he by death obtain advantage?
Okay. She told him that this you can put, or sometimes you can even get rid of that. Okay, because in a long narrative, you might continue the narrative in the indirect speech also, expecting the reader to appreciate that the speech is continuing. Okay? For she had known that she must die, and why not? Must remains same, must. There is no mustard. Okay? Even though he had not proclaimed it, past perfect. And if she died before her day, die has become died, she accounted it as a gain, same thing. now onwards present remains present, because this is something which can be said perhaps even today. For whosoever lives like her in many sorrows, how does he not by death obtain an advantage?
Thus, to me, at least to meet with this fate, the sorrow is nothing. But if I had suffered him who was born of my mother to lie in death, an unburied corpse, in that case I would have sorrowed. In this I sorrow not.
Okay. Thus, to her at least, she remarked. If you put the she remarked in the form of this parenthetic phrase, then you do not have to put that. Okay? This means that she remarked this side as well as that other side. Thus, to her at least, she remarked, to meet with this fate, the sorrow was nothing. But if she had suffered him who had been born of her mother to lie in death an unburied corpse, in that case she would have sorrowed. Would have will remain would have. Okay? In this she sorrowed not. Okay? This also remains. This did not become that, because if we make it that, then it will get confused with the other that. Okay? In that case, so this has to stay this in order to be different from that. Okay? Okay.
But if I seem to you now to happen to do what is foolish, I merely incur the imputation of folly from a fool.
Now, this is a comment. Okay. You can say that she said, or you can also say she commented that if she still seemed to Creon to happen to do what was foolish, she merely incurred the imputation of folly from a fool.
The spirit of the daughter shows itself stern from a stern father, and she knows not to yield to misfortune.
The chorus remarks or remarked that the spirit of the daughter showed itself stern from a stern father, and she knew, okay, knows becomes knew, not to yield to misfortune. Okay. So, this is a little example, and I am sure you will be interested in what happens in the argument later. So, there you will find it soon. Okay. So, we proceed for our next business of today's class. I have earlier told you that games have a very important role to play in the learning. Okay. Same thing with languages. Okay. There are lots of word games. Of course, many of you know Scrabble, many of you know about Hangman. Okay. These are brilliant games. Okay. And we also showed you one 5-letter word game. Okay. But most of these games concentrate on words only. Okay. So, last year when we were organizing an English proficiency workshop, at that time we thought hard how to design a game which will be which will involve sentences also, syntax also. Okay. So, we designed a game which you will find very interesting, which asks for words to be guessed, but those words can be guessed properly only if you give a little concentration on the sentences and their syntax, in what context the word comes. Okay. In this game, which we call word guessing game, one by one we will show a little segment of the text of a text, and in which one word will be given only with some of the letters, and some letters will be missing, and you have to guess the word, or you have to tell the word. Okay. So, here in the studio among the audience, we have made two parts. The front row is contestants, and the rear row is audience. Okay. So, we will go from one round right to left, next round left to right. okay, and whatever is right to left for me will be the other way for you. Okay. And then we will have buzzer round questions. But unfortunately, we are not showing you the scoring, in which also we have done something very original, okay, some other time. But this time it is quite little time in hand. Okay. For you, the first question. What is this word? Pass.
Overwhelmingly.
Good. He gets the point. Next question, direct to you. This runs from here till here. Pass.
Governed my
Governed. Good. She gets the marks. Next, Arunjati's question.
Longing.
Good. Next.
knowledge.
Beautiful.
Unbearable.
Good. Lovely. Next question again to you. This is the opposite run.
Sufferings.
Yes.
Suff-
Suffering.
Suffering.
Next.
Possess.
Pass.
Possessions.
Pass.
Passions.
Shabash. That's beautiful. Next question.
Either.
Didar. Didar, correct. Next. Pass. Wayward. Wayward, yes. Next question to you, direct. Pass. Pass. Audience? Anguish. Yes. One answer from the audience. Audience gets toffee. Next question.
Despair.
Good. Pass.
Ecstasy.
Shabash. That's right. Next question direct to you only. Yeah. Ecstasy. It is written right here.
Suffer.
No. Pass. Pass. Audience? Sacrificed. Audience knows.
Trouble.
Question passes.
Terrible.
Terrible. Yes. Next question to you, direct.
Showering.
Pass.
Showering.
Pass. Just a minute. What did you say? Pass. Pass. Utkarsh? Audience? Shivering. Sabash. Very good. Shivering.
Abyss.
Abyss, correct?
Finally.
Finally, yes. Pass. Pass. Audience? You have to know it. Prefiguring. This is very complicated.
Imagine.
Imagined. Good. Next.
Thought.
It is though, not thought.
Understand.
Of course, yes.
Feel.
No. Pass. Pass.
Apprehend.
Good, good, good. Next question.
Achieved?
Good.
Heavens.
Yes.
You were great.
Good. Beautiful. Pass.
Tortured.
Good. Next question direct to you.
Burden.
Burden. That's right. Pass. Pass.
Mockery.
Mockery. Good. Next. Pass. No. Long. Yes. I long. Long is also a verb. Okay. I long to alleviate this evil, but I cannot, and I too suffer. Next. This way.
Worth.
Good. Worth.
Occurred.
Pass. Offered. Yes. Bertrand Russell won the Nobel Prize for Literature for his History of Western Philosophy. This passage is the prologue of his autobiography, What I Have Lived For. Okay. Earlier, I told you that in this game, though the game is for guessing words, yet you need to give enough coverage in your mind to the sentence, to the syntax, and then you will find that guessing the word is easy. I am sure by now it is clear to majority of students across the net, but in the next excerpt we will do a little elaboration on that at the cost of some time, and there before answering the actual word, every participant here in the studio will tell what kind of word he expects. For example, in the previous one, in this, what kind of word? Okay. So, noun, you expect a noun here, okay, because it is coming after an article. Okay. Next, you expect another noun here, it is coming after an article. Okay. Here you expect a verb in the first form. Okay. Yeah, you cannot expect anything else, verb in the first form. Okay. So, something of that sort. Before telling the answer, you will tell what kind of thing you expect. Okay, we start from there. First, you will tell what kind of thing should come here, and half the marks will be for that. The word starts from here, not necessarily. Do you know the word? Obviously not. Pass.
Adjective? Worst.
Good. Next question to you only.
Wisdom.
But what kind of thing?
Noun.
But the guessing process should be the other way around. You expect, I mean, of course, wisdom was so easy that you could not stop yourself. I can understand that. Okay. What kind of thing you expect here?
Noun.
Noun, yes.
Epoch.
Epoch, yes. What kind of thing you expect here?
Noun.
What kind of noun? Of course, abstract noun. What else? Okay, what is the word? No? No? Utkarsh?
Incredulity.
Incredulity. What kind of thing you expect here? Could be, but not. Other than adjective, what can come here?
Adverb.
Adverb. Adverb cannot come. What kind of thing should come here?
Noun.
Noun, yes. What is the word? No?
Noun and winter.
Winter, yes. You should see from the context. It was the spring of hope, it was the winter of despair. Okay? this is D, D, then 2 blanks, then E, then 1 blank, then T. This is unfortunate. We had nothing before us. We were all going something to heaven. Direct, direct. Used in the directly sense. What kind of thing is going to come here?
Adjective.
Adjective in the superlative.
Nearest.
Pass.
Noisiest.
Noisiest, yes. Next question. Yeah.
Adjective?
Yes, third form of a verb, yes. It is received. Okay, this word starts from here and ends here. Adjective, yes. That's a good observation. The comes here, a noun comes later, in between what else can go? Now think from the context, what adjective?
Superlative.
Superlative, what else can be there? Comparison can be, a degree of comparison can be positive, comparative, superlative. Okay? It was the best of times, it was the worst of times, it was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness, it was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity, it was the season of light, it was the season of darkness, it was the spring of hope, it was the winter of despair. We had everything before us, we had nothing before us. We were all going direct to heaven, we were all going direct the other way. In short, the period was so far like the present period that some of its noisiest authorities insisted on its being received for good or for evil in the superlative degree of comparison only. This is the opening of A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. However, it is the opening dialogue, opening background dialogue of a movie called The Great Dictator, which is of another very highly important period of history. Okay, we stop here, and the file is long, and I will be uploading it along with other things in the standard diary site, so you can see the rest. I am sure you like this game. So, we will meet next in the session 40. Thank you.